I got you, people. So I always been thinking about this for a long time, because it's got to change and somebody's got to stop it. Now we got all these gangbangers, all this menace to society that still get to live the good life, while the good citizens, law-abiding citizens, are still struggling to make ends meet. And while you got these teenagers and you got these man and woman adults that they can't get their head straight and still acting like they teenagers and adolescents. You know, we got to get rid of these people. Just like the president of the Philippines, Rodrigo Duterte, went after all these drug dealers and all these gangbangers, and if they didn't turn themselves in voluntarily, right, he executed them point blank. If you resist, you're gonna get killed. And that was what's happening in the Philippines with Rodrigo Duterte, the president. And now you got this other president, right, from El Salvador, Borque, right? The president is getting rid of all these gang-affiliated members and throwing them in jail for life. You get no visitation, no lawyer visits, no contact with the outside. You did your time, you done. You have disrupt your community, the people's life. You tormented them, and it's time to clean up. And I'm hoping that Donald Trump does the same thing here in America. That's right. I'm hoping that Donald Trump does the same thing and start throwing these criminals. It doesn't matter if you're a teenager. You're out there causing crime, stealing, robbing from people, you know, disrespecting the elders, gangbanging. Is your turn is up too. Your time is up. You should be going to jail and permanently. You got to make a decision whether you want to live law-abiding citizens and obey, you know, change your life around, or your life is into gangbanging and causing chaos to the community and the Americas, right? So looks like Donald Trump has planned with the president of El Salvador to create more jails to put American gangbangers and criminals not in Rikers, not in state prison, not in Sing Sing and Pelican State or anything like that. No, you go into El Salvador prison, a Seco, the worst prison that you could be. There's no television, there's nothing. You cannot ask for anything. You there as a prisoner, and as a prisoner you should be put away because you didn't want to change the ways to conduct yourself like a normal person and respectful person. You got your freedom, but instead you're using your freedom to torment other people. You know how many people you probably cause trauma to, that people are afraid to leave the streets, to leave their apartments, because we got all these gang affiliated young teenagers. That's what it is. Most of them are young teenagers, and also they follow these other older people that were in gangs that think that that's a good thing to do. So these young teenagers follow these steps and think that they're doing something great. They don't do anything out here but cause trouble. You know, they stand in front of the building complex, in the lobbies, in the steps, and they don't let regular people pass. Even if they know somebody, they don't respect and move out the way. They just stand there like if they own the properties and things like that. Ain't nobody here own anything, especially a teenager that's probably living with his grandma. And that's another thing, is these grandmothers that have sympathies for these kids and take them in, and they also disrespect the households of their grandparents. They don't respect their grandparents, and that shouldn't be allowed either. As your grandparents have a place to stay, and they got this teenager, adolescent acting like a bandit, a gangster, then should be allowed to live with their grandparents. Their grandparents should be living in peace, not tormented by their grandchildren, bringing in trouble, you know, and hanging out in the residence. and their grandparents are scared. Can't discipline them because they go off and disrespect the grandparents. So I agree that if Donald Trump makes deal with the president of El Salvador, Barco, whatever his name is, he got a weird name, and sends all these criminals over there to El Salvador and keep them in prison for life. It doesn't matter. Listen, you got choices to make. Either you want to be a law-abiding citizen and have the privileges of being free and, expressing yourself is okay. But when you could committing violence, crime against the people that live around you, and you disrespecting them, you're nothing but a menace to society. You should be put away. And we're not putting you away. Well, not me. The authorities. You disobey. That's the choices you make. Everybody have choices to make. And if you know that jail is not your lifestyle, you shouldn't be making a crime. These people take the American prison as a hotel, a Holiday Inn. They go in there, to them it's like nothing. Because they say, I'll be right back. I'll be back in a few days. They call years a few days. It's like gravy to them. So that's why all this crime continues here in America. Because they know they're going to be treated more better than a civilian that is out here working and trying to pay his bills, trying to figure out what they're going to eat 3 meals a day. When prisoners here in America eat 3 meals a day, have dental, have gym, recreation, they even get time to kill themselves. That's the problem with that. When you have freedom in the prison, that you dare to fulfill a penance that you did wrong to somebody. You know how many people are tormented by criminals and things like that. They got to live by that. That you try to fight the system. You tell them, listen, I want auto protection, and this auto protect doesn't do nothing to protect the victim. It only protects the offender. Has more protection than the victim. That's the problem. So that's why I don't mind is Donald Trump is making deal with the El Salvador president from Barco and sending these people, close all these prisons down in America, have them as a check-in, entry, but ship them out to El Salvador and keep them over there and let El Salvador deal with that. We paying them, let them deal with that. Whatever he needs to do, you could call it whatever, concentration camp or a death sentence or whatever. Listen, you chose that life. There's plenty of things to do here in America to keep you busy instead of just tormenting people and gangbanging, killing each other and killing innocent people. People can't go out to the parks, no way. You can't walk the street without shots being fired. People having police chase them with cars and that, putting everybody in danger. Innocent people always are the ones that end up dead. That's why I always support all these presidents that come down hard in their country to their civilians and tourists, anybody. It's not only the tourists, anybody that comes out from another country and comes to another country visit. If you break the laws, and like a criminal law, I'm not talking about simple things that could be avoided, but when you commit crime against the people and society, you should pay for them crimes dearly. So you won't have an opportunity to go back to prison. You would think twice of committing a crime. You want to have your freedom out here. The only people that see prison great is for they could have a chance to relax while they're in there, and then come back out and do the same thing. That should be a punishment, a strong punishment, so that people could think twice not to make this crime. So that's why I think it would be a great dynamic duo if Rodrigo Duterte from the Philippines, Donald Trump, and Barco from the El Salvador president that's getting rid of all these gang violence and drug dealers, gang bangers, anybody that commits crime. You're done. Your time for that generation should be gone and abolished. Either you become a straight citizen or you're going to lose your freedom and a jail for eternity. That's all I got to say. People got to change, man. Our government's got to be strong. That corruption is not going to be tolerated anymore. And with that, people, I'll let you go and you think about that.